The question is, two discrete time systems with impulse responses h1 of n equal to del of n minus 1 and h2 of n equal to del of n minus 2 are connected in cascade. The overall impulse response of the cascaded system is, the options are, first option, del of n minus 1 plus del of n minus 2, second option, del of n minus 4, third option, del of n minus 3, fourth option, del of n minus 1 into del of n minus 2. Now, we will see the solution to this question. Given that h1 of n is nothing but del of n minus 1 and h2 of n is nothing but del of n minus 2, and it is given that these both systems h1 of n and h2 of n are in cascade, that is h1 of n, h2 of n are in side by side blocks, that is they are in cascade, where the input is x of n and the output is y of n. Now we need to find the equivalent transfer function or the block h of n which gives the same output y of n for the same input x of n, or the equivalent of the above block diagram. And we know that the equivalent of this will be h of n equal to the convolution of the first transfer function and the second transfer function, that is h of n equal to h1 of n convolved h2 of n. Now, since we know h1 of n and h2 of n, we can directly convolve and get the final output h of n. This is one way of doing this problem. Now, we can also do this problem in the frequency domain, that is by finding the h1 of z, which is nothing but z transform of h1 of n, that is z transform of del of n minus 1, which is nothing but z power minus 1, because we know that z transform of del of n minus n naught is z power minus n naught, because it is a shifted version of the impulse function del of n, and the z transform of impulse function is 1, and the time shifting in the time domain results as z power minus n naught in the transformed domain. Similarly, we can find h2 of z as z transform of del of n minus 2, which is nothing but z power minus 2. Therefore, the z transform h of z, which is the z transform of the final block which we need to find, is nothing but h1 of z into h2 of z, because convolution in time domain will result as multiplication in the frequency domain, that is we get it as z power minus 1 into z power minus 2, which is nothing but z power minus 3. Now we need to find the inverse transform of this h of z so that we can get the final answer, that is h of n equal to inverse z transform of h of z, that equal to del of n minus 3, because as we know that del of n minus n naught z transform is z power minus n naught. So the equivalent of the cascade of h1 of n and h2 of n, which is nothing but their convolution, that is h1 of n in convolve h2 of n, is nothing but h of n equal to del of n minus 3, which is the final answer. Therefore, the overall impulse response of the cascaded system is option C, del of n minus 3, which is the final answer.